Hi guys, I am coming to you live for our third and final discussion about Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim, and I'm coming to you from my hammock outside because it is such a nice day. So let's get right into it and just finish up this fantastic discussion because I absolutely love this book. I thought it was really good, and just the Taylor aspect of the entire book really made it shine for me. So I was very excited to read it, and even though it started slowly for me, just like We Hunt the Flame, it ended gloriously. Hello, thanks for joining. We're talking about the last chapters of Spin the Dawn today, and just giving our final thoughts on the book and its plotline and all the details of why we loved it. I personally give it 4 stars out of 5 just because it started a little slow for me. I don't know about anyone else, but the romance started slowly. Even the whole story for me and the magical fantasy aspect of the book was very slow for me. She didn't use the scissors until about, I think, chapter 9 or 10, so it was a slow start for me. But we'll jump right into the Fantasy Monthly Book Club card. And the first question is, how well does the author establish her fantasy world within the book? And now that we have finished the book from start to finish, we can really look at the whole picture. And I would say that she does a really good job of establishing her fantasy world within the book, because the last half of the book is chock full of fantasy. It is fantastic. I loved their journey to find the blood of the stars, the sunlight, and the moonlight to make the 3 dresses of the goddess. That was fantastic. I love that aspect of the book, and her tailor aspect and wanting to become a master tailor even though she was a woman, which obviously is not allowed in her country. So I thought that was very interesting. So I personally think the author did a great job, but she could have started it a little sooner. The first few chapters for me kind of felt like overzealous world building and explanations. So, number 2, how well did the author describe Chinese culture? I would say she did an excellent job of doing Chinese culture in the undertones of the story. It wasn't in your face, but you really did get a feel for the culture that the world was set in. So I thought it was a really good towing the line kind of deal, where it wasn't all about it, but hello, thanks for watching. It wasn't all about it, but I thought it brought an aspect to the story that isn't there usually. So Chinese culture, I think, was well defined within the book. Number 3, did you enjoy the Taylor aspect? Did it enhance the plot? I would say it did enhance the plot, just because I don't think I've read a book before that had a Taylor aspect in it. So having that aspect in the book and having it be the main part of the book, and on top of that having it be a woman, which is not traditional in Chinese culture, at least in that time. It was set in, I think, 14th century. I might not be right about that, but an older style of Chinese culture. So having it be controversial like that, and having to see her as the master tailor and see her character development in that way was very interesting to me. And the aspect of her loving it and weaving the colors and the threads, and us really seeing what the design of tailoring was all about to her, and how it weaved not only into what she wanted to be, but her entire being was based on that profession, which was honestly really inspiring. So I really liked the Taylor aspect of the book. And number 4, what song does this book make you think of any particular artist? So I would say by the end of the book, spoiler here, if you haven't finished it, you might want to cover your ears or skip ahead a bit, but I would say by the end of the book, Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer is how I feel about the book, just because, I don't know if you've ever heard that song, but it's about a relationship that's doomed to fail. So Maya and her dark enchanter seem a bit destined to fail to me, just because they have so many obstacles to overcome if they want to be with each other, and the end of the book just did not end well for them. So I'm crossing my fingers that in the next one everything works out fine, but that might not be the case. So Slow Dancing in a Burning Room is a fine song to even out the end of the book for me, even though it's very melancholy. So that's all for the questions for the final discussion of Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. I personally really love the cover of this book. It looks a lot like art, even though, hello, thanks for hopping in. I love the cover of this book. It looks a lot like drawn art, which is different from most covers lately that look very digitally created. So I loved this cover, and I love the story behind it, and I thought it was really unique from other things I've been reading lately that's mostly based on fairies or magic in a different way than this book is. So I thought it was very interesting, and I love the book. I thought it was a perfect length too. It wasn't too long, wasn't too short. So I definitely recommend this book, and I give it 4 out of 5 stars. And I'd love for you guys to drop your answers to this book club question card in the comments down below. And I would love to know your take overall on the book. What do you give it, 1 through 5 stars, and why? So let me know in the comments, and I am glad you guys stopped in. I'm glad you guys watched, and have a happy reading Sunday, and I will talk to you guys next time.